When Snowflake first arrived at the clinic, everyone feared it might be too late. He was barely breathing, weak, and covered in dust from the streets. He had been found in the south of the country in Granada and brought in as an emergency case. A small, broken cat who refused to give up. The vets could tell right away that he had been hit by a car, or maybe even a truck. His skull was fractured, and there was a deep hole inside his mouth that made eating impossible. Whenever he tried to swallow, food would leak into the wound, causing infection and terrible pain. He was starving, but too injured to eat. At first, surgery wasn't an option. Snowflake was simply too weak to survive it. So the team started slow, feeding him carefully through a tube that ran from his nose to his stomach. They gave him fluids, antibiotics, and pain relief, hoping his tiny body would find the strength to keep going. One of the surgeons, Jorge, came up with a creative solution. Using a small silicone plaque, he temporarily closed the hole in Snowflake's palate, allowing him to eat again while giving his body time to heal. It wasn't a permanent fix, but it gave him a fighting chance. And somehow, Snowflake took that chance. The first few weeks were difficult. His fur was thin and patchy, his body only 2 kilos, and his spirit fragile. But every day, he showed small signs of progress. He began to eat on his own, first a few bites, then full meals. Slowly, his strength returned. The team nicknamed him Super Snowflake because surviving what he had been through already felt like a miracle. Each checkup brought good news. His wounds were healing. The feeding tube was no longer needed. His fur started to grow back, soft and white again. Even the vets were amazed. They had never seen such determination in such a small body. He began to act like a cat again. When food arrived, he focused so hard that he ignored everyone around him. His appetite was strong, his eyes bright. The day he reached 2.3 kilos, the clinic celebrated. It wasn't much, but for Snowflake, it meant hope. Still, the road to recovery wasn't smooth. His skin was fragile and his immune system was weak. He continued to take antifungal and antibiotic medication and receive fluids to support his body. Some days he improved quickly, and others he seemed to slip backward. Then came another challenge. Despite eating well, Snowflake started losing weight again. His blood work showed signs of anemia, and the vets began to worry. They tested for thyroid disease, negative. They looked for other causes, and suspected an infection might be attacking his red blood cells. To give him strength, they performed a blood transfusion. Snowflake lay quietly through the process, eyes half closed but calm. Even in his weakest moments, he never stopped trying. His spirit was unbreakable. Day after day, the team worked tirelessly to keep him comfortable. They monitored his blood, adjusted his medications, and gave him every chance they could. They checked his heart and organs to make sure no hidden disease was taking over. What they found was complicated, a mix of infection, inflammation, and exhaustion. But still, Snowflake fought. He kept eating, kept purring softly when someone stroked his head, as if to say, "I'm not done yet." After everything he'd been through, broken bones, infections, surgeries, and blood transfusions, he was still here. The vets often said he's come back from the dead. And in many ways, he truly had. The team decided to take him off the strongest pain medications and see how he managed. He continued to eat, showing signs that he was getting stronger. His body still needed time to heal, and his blood tests showed that he wasn't out of danger yet. But his progress was undeniable. Snowflake's recovery has been a long, fragile journey, full of ups and downs. But every small victory, every meal finished, every playful glance reminded everyone why they kept fighting for him. He had already beaten the odds once. Now, as he rests in the clinic surrounded by people who love him, he's not just a rescue case anymore. He's a symbol of resilience. The vets say his body may be tired, but his heart is strong. He wants to live. His story is a reminder that even when hope seems lost, life can find a way back. Snowflake didn't just survive. He inspired everyone around him to keep believing in second chances. There's still a long road ahead. His treatment continues, and he's being monitored closely. But every day that he opens his eyes and takes another bite of food is proof that he's not ready to give up. Snowflake's fight isn't over yet. but with love, care, and support, he has a real chance to make it through. If you've ever believed that compassion can change a life, Snowflake is living proof. From being broken and forgotten to fighting his way back to health, he's shown what a tiny spark of hope can do when people care enough not to walk away. If Snowflake's story touched your heart, share it or leave a comment of support. Every bit of love helps another animal get the second chance they deserve.